What's up, Addicts? I'm Michael.
And I'm Thick Boy Josh.
And today, we're doing a video on the series...
Are we keeping that in? But okay, alright.
Yeah, we're keeping it in.
Alright.
So this is Volume 1 of The Realm. That's the title? Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay, right.
This was recommended by one of our viewers who commented on our Killer Patrol. So
if you're not, if you're listening, great. If you're not, then...
I don't know why we made this
I
video.
don't know why.
But don't get me wrong, we liked it, so that's why we're here to talk about it.
So yeah, this is Volume 1. This is a shorter amount of content we actually have to look at and review. So technically this should be a shorter video, but we have 20 characters to talk about. But in this video we have, we'll talk about this, and we have basically a post-apocalyptic world, but you have fantasy elements such as orcs, goblins, mythical skeleton creatures that are evil, dragons, goblins with guns, orcs with guns.
Yeah.
But you also have the human side of things where it's like almost like Walking Dead kind of settlements where you have weapons and some magic in the world as well. Or we have seen a little bit of.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's pretty much it. And I'll give it over to Josh to talk about the 30 characters in this.
Okay, so I guess Michael touched on it a little bit. Our main guy is a man named Will Nolan. We get a little bit of backstory to him. All we know really is that he has some kind of military background that we're assumed to believe, and he has a special thing that he has contracted that we don't know if anybody else knows about. And he is seemingly a guide for people. He works for a man named Marcus who runs a business that is kind of like a protection ring, but is more of kind of like a tour guide, I guess you could say.
Tour guide of death.
Yeah. And along with that, we get to see one of Will's friends who is named Rook, which we know very little about her, just that she's a badass and wears a mask. We have another group who is actually hiring Will and Rook to take them to
Kansas City.
Yeah, Kansas City. And this group is led by Molly. She is, if you read it, she's the chick with the bow and arrows skills. And then in her group, we also have Laszlo, David, and Dr. Burke. And we seemingly just know that they're trying to get a certain item in Burke's possession to this area, and we don't know specifically what it is or what their mission is. And as some of the other ones, we don't know too much about it, but I'll just mention it briefly, is we get a glimpse of what the antagonist side of things is going to look like, with the main one being this witch doctor named Eldridge, who is seemingly working for a deity or some form of bad guy. And we get two people that are kind of his, I guess, kind of underlings or like co-workers.
Like it's like they have a military side of things and they have like a sorcerer side of things.
Yeah, and they're kind of like, I think it was, I didn't make a note of it, but of what their names are specifically. But the people that you get to see, they, I guess, command the Red Jaw faction, which is like an orc division of their military. The only other side characters that we'll probably talk about is the mysterious acquaintance that they meet on the road named Ellie. We don't know too much about him except that he's a kid with a mysterious past. And we get Everett, who is a leader of a town and also a friend of Will's. There's a lot of friends of Will. And then we get a sneak peek of a new ally, or seemingly new ally by the end of the volume, which name is Ben, and you'll just know him as like the murderer, the masked murderer, at the beginning part of the volume. But I don't know if you mentioned it or not, but this is like it's a post-apocalyptic, but it's got like fantasy, but it's not like inherent, like it's not how the world always was. There was actually some event that made it to where these fantasy elements came into this world, but we don't really know why or how. We just know that it was over 10 years ago.
Yeah, so it is right now. I mean, it is Volume 1. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of material after this to review and look at, so there's still a bunch of mysteries about the world, even the characters. A lot of the characters, we don't know much about them as far as either their background or what exactly their powers are.
Yeah. So what did you like about this volume?
I like the main guy. There's a sequence where at the beginning, where he's rescuing someone, basically, or he's helping someone take over a settlement, and that was pretty great. There's one scene where you get to see sort of his power that I really liked, and there's one scene where an individual basically uses lightning powers, and that was pretty unexpected and really cool. It's interesting because you really have mysteries about all the characters that were talked about in this volume. You have, this group that has hired Will. They're traveling for unknown reasons, and you have like doctors that we don't know their backgrounds, and you also have their package. We don't know what it is, but it's supposedly very important. So,
yeah. For me, favorite kind of things, just to sum it up. One thing, like one scene in particular, is a battle that they have towards the end of the volume. I think that one's really cool. But I just like a lot of the mystery presented in there. I just want to know more about the world because it has a really cool aesthetic. I think when I was reading this, I was getting some like Dark Tower vibes. And so I think that's an interesting thing that they're going to be playing on. The villains seem like they will be posing a threat, and I'm curious to see how the power will be kind of balanced because like the good guys seemingly have a trump card, but we don't really know how powerful it is, but we assume it's pretty good. But I don't know, there's a lot of mystery, I guess you'd say. This is more of like a building up and like exposing you to all the characters that are going to be important later on. So but the only other thing I'll mention is Revolver. I love the Revolver.
Yeah. You have a lot of cool Western weapons in this. You have a lever action that's showcased, and you have that revolver. Not that many modern weapons, actually. Mostly just Western style weapons.
Yeah, and then like
shotgun.
Yeah, and then you got like a mixture between the two, where you got like blades mixed with guns, and then some are like having different roles. Where like you were saying, like the ogres or orcs, they'll have like modern weapons or like our weapons.
There's some snipers in there as well, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I guess getting into like a final thoughts and rating, I really enjoyed it. I think it's one of those where I enjoyed it more for the intrigue and just seeing what this world is going to be like and what the overall story is going to entail. If it's going to be more of like trying to revert the world back where it came from, or if it's going to be just surviving in this world, or if it's going to be trying to take out the people that are seemingly wanting to control everything. But I thought it had pretty good action. I like the characters. They seem pretty capable, which is something that I like seeing in these kinds of stories because it's always annoying seeing somebody that doesn't know how to take care of themselves in a post-apocalyptic, so it's not like that at all. And for me, I would say this is a worth it. First volume, I think it's a worth it. Maybe a more lower tier one, because like I said, there wasn't as much going on, but yeah, I can't say anything else besides I liked it.
Yeah, I would give it the same rating, a worth it. My question for you for this series is, do you think if someone was going to go out and buy it, do you think they should wait longer for more material to be out, or do you think it's good enough to buy it right now?
Honestly, I think it's a little too early to tell right now. I think a good thing for that would be like if you want to check it out, see if you like it, go and read the first volume, but then maybe wait until the second volume is out. And then determine whether or not this is a series you're going to stick with. Because I think right now they have like 2 or 3 more months before they even have enough material to make a second volume. And then it'll be even longer than that before they actually have one. So if you wait until the second volume, if you're really into the series, then by the time that releases, you'll have probably like 3 or 4 issues to catch up on. And then you'll be current. Or if you're like, I like this, but I don't want to, keep up to date with it every month, then you'll have a good enough head start on them to where you can seemingly wait like 6 months and then there'll be another one.
Yeah, I think that's pretty good advice. Well, that pretty much does it for this episode and this review. Be sure to check out all our different content. We got more comic reviews coming out pretty soon. Many that we've read as of late.
Yes, there's going to be more of that coming on. I don't know if we'll, because we have probably 6 more series planned. So I don't know if we'll just stick with that until they're done, or if we'll continue to expand. It just kind of depends on our wallet situation.
Yeah, if you, for those of you who like this kind of content, if you want to just let us know if you would like us to do issue by issue content, because we can.
And we will do that for one of the other series because it is just a more recent one, I should say, that's just now came out. But anyway, that'll conclude this video.
Yeah, so check out our other content and see you later.
All right. See you, Addicts.
Peace.